All right, I got it broke down pretty good. I've been terrible at filming. I gotta start getting back into filming everything and then editing it out. It was so much editing, but I guess that's the name of the game if you want to do this. Anyway, so we'll take a quick walk around and I'll show you what I got going on and what we've done to this workhorse. I have came up with a name for it, and I'll tell you that in a minute. So basically we got her tore down pretty good. So the reason I got the steering wheel and all that played off is I got to take this controller off for the hydraulic assembly, and the hydraulic assembly right there. That's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to clean up the frame. I got to take the hangers off for the Tach-O-Matic system, and I got to pull this guy off, this front plate. It's still got all the springs and stuff installed, so I'm going to pull that one off, and I'm going to put one on that I have, so that that one can be complete, because I'm going to sell a bunch of these parts. The deck is off now, which is outside. I'm going to sell a lot of the the parts for the mule drive and all that stuff. I'm going to sell all that stuff. So we're going to get this. We got to get this footboard stripped off here, and then first thing, I'm going to pull that hood off. You wouldn't believe the amount of, maybe you would, but the amount of safety switches. This is like an 82 or an 83, I believe. The amount of safety switches into the 80s that were on this machine, being that old, and it's still so much wiring. I'm cleaning all that stuff off because I just don't want it for an off-roader. But yeah, we got it broke right down. I got to get the lift assembly out of the middle here. I got to get all that out so I can sell that. So I've named this tractor Ghost. And the reason I've named it Ghost, because it's the death of a horse, right? It was a perfectly working, I shouldn't say perfectly working, but it had an engine, which I got fired up on the bench. I'm going to get rid of that. It was a perfectly complete, probably could have got operational mowing tractor, wheel horse. And I've decided to tear it apart and kill what it was, and out comes what it's going to be. So I've named it Ghost. So that's it. You know, the coloring, obviously, blah blah blah, but that's kind of where the name came from. I like it. I don't really care if anybody else does. But I'm going to try to film. I'm going to get the footboard. I got to pull that off, and then I'm going to pull to get the cylinder off there, the lift cylinder, so I have that whole assembly. And then I'm going to drop the center lift, deck lift, bars and all that stuff, so I can have all that together. And then I'm going to start selling all that stuff. And we're going to end up putting a John Deere axle in the front of this one. So that's kind of where we're headed. Pretty hefty dent in the front. I'm gonna have to knock that out. That's what I end up doing with these, right? You get the little C-clip, or the E-clips, whatever people call them. I'll actually end up drilling this and putting a a couple hairpin clips, R-clips, whatever people call them. That way you can pop it off, you can get the hood popped off. But for now, I try to keep everything together so that I can utilize it later. That's not terrible, big 5/8 belt. I think with this I'm going to run a 5/8 because it's just a straight, it's just running off a pulley. There's no clutching involved. This one, it does have a V-clutch to take the tension off the belt, which is cool. But yeah, I think I'm just going to run a 5/8 belt on this for the just for the beefiness of it. I like that it's got a rear tank, a lot of fuel. All right, so we're going to take this footboard off. Boards are in good shape. All right. So I gotta take the pedal off, which means I gotta take the brake rod off, which for some reason is stiff. It needs the lube. Needs the lube. Look at another safety switch right there. For the brake to hit. Safety switches everywhere. Now this. Cotter key. I gotta tell you though, for how long this thing sat, how long it sat outside, everything comes off and loosens pretty easily. Ow. These ones. Bushing? Boy, look at that. They put bronze bushings in those pedals. That's nice. That is nice. that's nice. Bet that pedal stays tight. Cool. So that arm has to come out this way. I already got the 2 pins out. I'm hoping. Yeah. So I'm going to have to crack these 2 lines, pop the cylinder off. This guy goes through the filter. Out into there. So that one got to come out because it goes through all this, and that's the return. So I got to basically unhook that, get this one line off, and then run this return from there over to that filter, just like I did on the other. But for now, do I want to keep a rubber line? I have another one of these cylinders somewhere. In there. I might have a line that'll work. I gotta be honest, I've never seen one of them come out so easy. Never. Usually they're so, but that whole apparatus came out. That's nice. Get that sold. gotta get strong. Because they are. Oh, no joke. Boy, if you gotta lift one of them to a bench, I tell you what, you gotta have some beef to you. Spray. There it is. Death of a horse. It'll return as Ghost. These are all the parts I'm going to end up selling. All the Attach-O-Matic stuff. That's the front piece that the pivot pin for the axle is going to go into. But the distance between here and the front one for a wheel horse is pretty wide, and a John Deere axle is narrower. So I'm going to actually build a piece on here. I'm going to build a piece on here that comes back. It's a little narrower. I'm going to weld it, and then I'll attach my hood and all that stuff off of that. Drill a big hole in it, obviously 3/4. So I'll weld it right on there. There's no reason to have it. I broke one. I broke 2 of these bolts on the Charlie horse a while back. I hit a tree and it busted 2 of these right off. Almost took the front end right off the thing. So I'm going to weld this one up. The Charlie horse has the brackets coming forward. I don't know if I need to do that on this one, but it's not going to be too high speed jamming. But anyway, I got all the lift. Everything came off. So all that's going to get sold. I don't want any of that. Don't need it laying around. So that's the motor that came off it, the original. We did get it fired up. Doesn't sound, I don't know. It's splash lube, right? Hood, all the parts, axle. So the next step is we got this on the bench here. So what I need to do is first off, I'm going to jam both of these hubs off here. And I have a puller I made. I got to get the brake drum off. I'll probably take this off just so it's not trying to get broken. We'll take the fan off because I have to tip this thing up on this side. I have a hole in my in a board, and I build it up with blocking. I'll tip this up because I just have to pull this cover half off. I mean, it actually only goes to there. All the way around, I just got to pull that off. The axle and everything is pretty straightforward. It's all bull gear, same thing as there. You know, you got the pump with a gear here. There's a center gear here, and then the bull gear. So it's pretty simplistic. But you just pop those two gears out. I'm going to pull this axle out. We'll get it welded up. Over maybe this weekend. But for now, I'm going to start stripping this rear end down, getting it ready to separate. And then this is going to end up getting a stretch. So I am going to stretch the, so on the Seahorse, I cut it here and move the plate back, which was fine. I had to monkey with some of this stuff. Not a huge deal, but this one I'm going to do like I did the Charlie Horse. I don't have an extra mount plate, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So basically I'm going to make my own. It's going to be an angle. If they touch in the middle, perfect. I'll weld it. I'll cap off the top, and I don't think I'm going to cap the bottom because I got to drill these holes bigger so that I can fit a socket through them to get to those. And then I need to come up under here, and then I will do the same thing I did on the Charlie Horse, and I will put a skid plate. I'm not going to do a full-on skid plate on this one. I'm just going to do 2 pieces of angle. The Charlie Horse it fills up with mud, and it's a nightmare to get it out. But anyway, yeah, she's tore down. This is going to go to the back. Obviously this goes to the trans, the cam on top of it. I'm going to connect here. I got a couple old go-kart tie rods. Okay, so I'm going to couple onto here. It'll go hopefully down through that hole, couple onto here. Okay, and then that end will run to a pedal. If I got to extend that, I can extend that, whatever. And then this just forward reverse, and then all this works too. So that's the plan. So right now I'm going to get my puller set up. I got to pull the hitch off this thing. I'm going to pull this off, the brake off, and then I'm going to pull the hubs off. Stay tuned. Sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't. That one, I forget to tell them they fall. Oh, look at that. Come right off. Holy cow. Look at that. I mean, I don't really need that off. So for now, we'll put that back on. Just pop this on. Now, you think they'll just come off? I freaking doubt it, but you never. Okay. I know what everybody's going to say, oh, you don't need to take them both off. You do, because you got to pull the axle out. So, I made this just for pulling hubs. I can pull hubs. So there's a hub, and I do believe that these are, I believe that they are 1 1/8" axles. Sometimes these keyways, they can be brutal to get out. Let's see how this one decides to be. And when it's all oily, you completely drop it in the dirt. That's what I do anyway. Okay, there's one. You gotta watch that tube. I usually replace them with metal ones. I think I've said this before, but that is actually the screw, and this is the bolt, or the threaded collar out of a jack from a trailer. And it's nice because it's got the beefy threads on it. These are just 3/8 grade 8 bolts. They fit through there without marring up the threads for the lug bolts. And then you just kind of tighten to make it the same all the way around. And then you gotta be crazy tight, you just gotta be down pretty much the same all the way along. And just like that, you guys want to beat on them, heat them, battle them, go ahead, but I'm done doing that. Once you've exploded a couple of them, and then you got to buy them for 50 bucks a piece. You got to think of a better way. All right, I think I've had enough for today. This weekend I'll stick that down through. We'll get it blocked up so I can pull the cover off. And then once I get that welded, I'll think about stretching so that so we'll get the stretch, we'll get that welded on, get the rear end put back in it, get the front end figured out, because I always like to get them back on some wheels. Then you can start, you know, figuring out what you got to do from there. I definitely don't know everything there is to know about wheel horses, and I don't claim to, but I do know how to build stuff. So that's what we do. I mean, I tear them down. I like to do, you know, my builds, like I said, I don't like them to break down. I try to be thorough. I try to cover everything. I don't know. Let me know if you got any questions. The puller, I can answer a couple questions about that. I don't know. Anything you got, doesn't matter, or just keep watching. Stay tuned for more videos.